All right. Holla, holla, هذا يبغى شيء. Hello, sidee leeyahay? How's everyone doing? Thank you again for being here for the live. Okay. Thank you. Xildhibaan dhagaxow baa confirmed ray. Oh gosh, where's the Somali? Ay sheegay inaan li maqlaay. So si fiican li maqlaa. I'm really glad. Inaad maanta ila joogtiin. Marka maxaa la yiraahdaa? It's been a really, really rough week. Manta run ahaantii, I didn't really want to come on. You know, we got no have I've just been feeling like, you know, really bad and sickly, given what's going on in the United States right now. You know, being a Black person, being a mother, you know, worrying about my son, worrying about my friends. Inta sudden, you know, it's just I've just had this like anxious stomach, you know, markasta waxaan dareemaya like I just want to like throw up, you know. So definitely want to make this live this week in memory of George Floyd. May he rest in peace, may he rest in power, and may he get the justice that he deserves. So we're going to really talk a lot. Share with, you know, your friends if, you know, you find my live lively and interesting enough. So share with the people. I'm going to talk about the things that have been going on, you know, in the country. So the country that I live in is the United States. So obviously that is what impacts me directly. And obviously, you know, East Africa as well, because that is my home. So the weekly life is just kind of a combination of all of those. It's a combination of all of those. Adban in salame, so Abdinasir Sodowo, Malik, I think it's Sodowada. Share with, you know, your friends, and, you know, welcome to the program. All right, so this week there's been so many things going on, you know, so many things going on in the United States. There's protests, you know, everywhere, and my heart is just so heavy. We got number one. Once you know, I feel sick, you know, I feel literally sick based on what's been happening. Hi, Shamiso, welcome. So, you know, I'm an African immigrant, right? And I live in the United States. So in Africa, you know, we don't have that concept, you know, of race, so to speak, amongst ourselves, right? We're just all Black. So we differentiate ourselves into different other ways, right? So we have tribes and we have like ethnicities. So you come to America and you're Black, you know, so you have to deal with the system that's already in place here. And it's, you know, something that is difficult for anybody, you know, either African diaspora or African American to deal with in this society. And this week has been really, really difficult on the psyche. It's been difficult for me, you know, mentally, emotionally. Like I said, you know, even doing the live today, I thought to myself, you know, I just can't, you know, it hurts. Everything hurts. And I have this, what do you call this? Anxious stomach, you know, anxious stomach. Markaad like, it's kunaxdid amal. Waxay hayso like all day was kunaxsanahay, you know, and it's like saan u jooga was kunaxaya, you know, caloosha xanuunayso. And all of that is like due to the anxiety, you know, of like dealing with, you know, Black death in the United States in particular, and the fact that, you know, Black people don't receive justice for that. And it hurts as a Black person, and it hurts, you know, as a mother of a Black boy. I look at my son and he's growing and he's getting taller by the day. And I'm just wondering, you know, I'm just waiting, like, when is he going to go from this cute little boy to dangerous or threatening? And I realized, you know, sinking feeling, I realized he's already there. You know, he's taller than me, his big, you know, hair, his big afro, you know, that he wants to grow out and, you know, do different things with his hair, because he's just like, you know, he's growing adolescence and he wants to experiment and figure out, you know, who he is. And then having these conversations with him about the state of affairs in the United States, you know, having this conversation about racism with him all the time, having the conversation of police brutality all the time, when he should, his focus, you know, his focus should be being young and having fun and grades and friendships and, you know, the mundane life stuff, right? Not being afraid for your life because of the color of your skin. And me not having a damn near heart attack every time he walks out the door. And it's going to get worse as he gets older. He becomes more independent and, you know, he starts driving and he goes away to college. So it's you know, it's very tough. Malik says, how are you right now? Marka, I'm you know, I'm as okay as I can be, right? How am I? I'm okay as can be, you know. What can I say? Taking it day by day, writing a lot, because that's just how I process my feelings. You know, I talk about how I feel, and I, you know, share with other people, and I try to, you know, make sense. You know, I'm definitely like a make sense kind of person, you know, like, let me make sense of this situation, like, you know, but there's no making sense of this. Wax like maskaxda ka dhaadhacayso oo maskaxda oo gasha ma aha, you know, wax like jirkaada xanuun, like xanuuninayo, or, you know, cudur ba kugu ridaya because waa stress, you know, stress dadka cudur ku ridaa. Marka cudur waxaan nahayo continuous or maxaa la yiraahdaa anaga aan concentrating. So it's hard, you know. And then dadka qaarkoodna waliba dadka maxaa la yiraahdaa Soomaaliga iyo kuwa cadaanka meeshan isla degan xira wadankaada ku laaba hadaa anaga, we've been living here for so long, you know. We are where we're supposed to be. After 20 odd years, ilmahayga meeshan ku dhashay ku koray, I can't go anywhere else. Ma kalmiyaan aadi karaan, is qaban karnaa, isma qaban karayn. You know what I mean? So I have to make sense of where I'm at. I have to try to make this work, you know? Abwan Hassan Ganay, so dhawaada, welcome. Waxaa tahay gorsar, thank you. I really appreciate that. It's very kind, and you know, I really appreciate you guys. Marka maxaa la yiraahdaa Soomaali, yes, so English and school wadayna san maxaa la yiraahdaa anagoona isku fahanno sidaan u sheegay kulley, right? Like I said, I live in the United States. I primarily speak English, and I do all of my business in English, you know, work, school, everything. So that has become, you know, comfortable for me. At the same time, Somali bana marka Soomaaligana xogaa waan isteen aan ku hadlo, dadkiina badan waxaad igu barateen, you know, riwaayad aan af Soomaali ku hadlayo. Marka waan dareemi karaa waxaad iga filaysiin inaan Soomaali ku hadlo. Marka ii dulqaata anyways, inshallah waan isfahmaynaa kulley bini'aadanka siday ama gacmaha ka hadlaan ama afka ka hadlaan, you know, siba way isku fahmaan. Marka thank you, aad baa umahadsantihiin inaad ila joogtiin. Maanta aan waqtigaan isla qaadanayno. Share with your friends, you know, if you find the content interesting. Let's move on to the President of the United States, who is getting on my last nerves right now, obviously, you know, who is saying and doing things, you know, that are just, you know what I mean, very, very inappropriate, racist, sexist, and every time, you know, I try to avoid him at all costs. Every time, like on the internet, I just try to avoid it. But because I'm like in this business of talking about the news and talking about what's going on, I'm forced to see what he's doing. So the latest thing is his fight against social media. So basically, There's a social media order. So he's trying to do an executive order of social media, and he's saying that this country, right, in a country that has long cherished the freedom of expression, we cannot allow a limited number of online platforms. So he's talking about social media. We cannot allow a limited number of online platforms to handpick the speech that Americans may access and convey on the internet. This practice is fundamentally un-American, anti-democratic. When large, powerful social media companies censor opinions with which they disagree, they exercise a dangerous power. And, you know, what he shared is not really opinion. You know, he talked about mail ballots, and he gave inaccurate information as the president of the United States, right? Now, I don't really know the legalities of, like, in terms of social media, what they can or cannot do, but I do believe as the president of the United States, he is expected to be held to a higher standard than the next regular Joe or Halimo, you know? So if I share something, it's different than the president of the United States sharing something, right? So he is a very dangerous man. So now he's trying to bypass Congress, bypass legislative and, you know, Congress and the House, and come up with this executive order, or he's come up with it, but have this executive order to not be censored on the internet. Basically, he does not want Twitter adding addendums or more information to fact check him, to hold him accountable, to force him to do the right and decent thing, because obviously he himself does not have it in him to do the right and decent thing. In fact, this week, he said that the protesters should be shot. He said that the looters, he said, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. And I remember not too long ago when in Michigan, these white men with guns were at the State House protesting the lockdown and stay-at-home orders. And he called them very fine people and to liberate the states. And he said, you know, the governor should just negotiate with these fine people. The governor should just negotiate with them. But the people fighting for human lives should be shot. You know, and I have no comments about like looting. I have no comments. I'm not going to get up on my high pedestal and tell people how to express their anger. And my anger is making me sick, right? I'm sick. I feel a lot of pain in my body. I feel so, you know, like a ton of bricks on me. I'm hugging my child every few minutes. I'm in grief. I'm mourning, you know. I'm thinking of, you know, George Floyd and the countless Black people that have been killed by racism in this country and all over the world, you know? So I am not going to be in a position to tell other people how to express their anger. Are there people who are going to take advantage of the situation, do all types of things? Of course there are. But you know what? This is a disruption, and disruptions are necessary. They force action. Right? So when the value of commodity is like higher than the value of human life, we have problems. So we shall get through this, you know. But this has been a very, 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 very trying year so far, right? Very trying year so far, obviously, but very, very trying time period. My Sami over here, Sodowo, Ifrah Ahmed, Ladan, how are you? Sodowo. I'm really glad that you guys are here. Like, I'm not sure, you know, moving to any other place. I thought about it. But you know, our parents came here fleeing civil war, right? And trying to make a life for us so that we could have a chance. And I'm not to say that, you know, I haven't had opportunities here. I haven't been able to make something out of my life. I have been. At the same time, things are not perfect, right? And you become invested in the country that you live in. So you try to make things better overall for yourself and for other people as well. Moving to Ireland and starting over is kind of a... it's not something that would be, you know, realistic for me or anybody. Just like starting over. You know, it's just really hard. Abdi Mohammed, welcome. So Duo. So how was the weekend? Were you among the protesters? Please give us clues. So I was not among the protesters, like physically, right? For me personally, I'm a single mother and I have to be at home with my child. That is, you know, the safest place for me, for him, like to be with him there. For him, it is important that I'm alive and that nothing happens to me. And the way that the police have been behaving towards protesters, home was exactly where I was supposed to be, but I absolutely support protesting. I absolutely 100% support it. There is no, like, the only thing that will change this is when everybody speaks up, everybody, those afflicted and those who are not afflicted, right? Because we talk a good game constantly about the human race and we're all one. Okay, show up then, show up for us, right? Show up for us. We can't breathe. All right. I am in perpetual fear for my son's life. Every day I see him growing bigger and I am afraid. You know, most people are happy that their children are growing, right? They're healthy, you know, but Black mothers, Black parents live with this fear, right? Oh my gosh, he's getting so big. When he goes out there, how is he going to be looked at? You know, that's what we live with. Absolutely. There are challenges wherever you go, you know, wherever you go, there are challenges, and we have to try to make, where we are work. You know what I mean? That's what, you know, that is basically the thing. You know, the only other place that I would be willing to move to is Africa. You know, one day, inshallah, I want to, you know, move back home somewhere in East Africa, at least. But yeah, that would be, okay. So, in defense of the protesters, right? When we revolt, it's not for a particular culture. We revolt simply because for many reasons, we can no longer breathe, okay? Can no longer breathe. And we can no longer accept this. And we cannot be quiet. And we scream. I've screamed in my pillow. You know, I've cried in the shower, in my bed late at night so my son doesn't hear me, okay? We shouldn't have to live that way. And those of you who benefit from this system, right, who do not do anything to change the status quo, shame on you. Shame on you. Thank you, Malik. Thank you so much, Walala. Thank you so much. You know, in other places, in other places, moving on to a different topic, right? Moving on to a different topic. Somalia is going to be having elections here soon, and it's like the first direct elections, one person, one vote. And I'm really thinking about how this is going to be implemented. I'm thinking about how this is going to be implemented. I'm very, very curious about it. So this is changing from like that 4.5 system of a clan-based power sharing system to a one person, one vote. So I'm really, really curious. One, how this is going to be implemented. What about all of the people that are in internal displacement? So what about all the people that are in IDPs? How is this going to be like regulated? Where the checks and balances? Is this something that's going to be internal, or are we going to have another case of, you know, like AMISOM or African Union regulating, I guess, our business because we can't conduct our own affairs? Like, how is this going to be? So Somalia, the last time that we've had direct elections was in 1969, right? And then after that, it had military coup, dictatorship for what, 30 odd years, civil war. Here we are now. Okay, so what do you guys think? How is this going to be played out? So that, and I was reading that us women are going to get 30%, right? Which is insulting, but it's better than nothing, I guess, right? It's insulting because 30%, really, we're 50% of the population. We need 50% of the seats, right? But I'm hopeful that people are going to be voted in based on their merit. Obviously, changing hearts and minds are going to be more difficult than changing legislation, right? Changing laws. And I'm hoping that people will buy into it bit by bit. You know, there's so much that needs to be undone, right? And people have all voted, like people have voted for so long, or given their even verbal vote for their clansmen or women. So how is this going to be playing out? Hi, Arawa, Asha Arawa, so welcome. Really glad that you guys are spending your Sunday afternoon, evening. I think some of you guys are in the UK and in Europe, and some of you guys are in Africa. I'm really glad you guys are here with me. I really appreciate this, talking about the things that I, love talking about because they're so important for me. I'm glad that you guys are here with me. I, do this for my soul and my spirit. I feel like I'm connected to Dotkega. I'm connected to, East Africa, which is home. And I'm also, a person that needs to be in the know. I need to know what's going on in the world. The world obviously is there and I am a part of it. So I'm really glad that you guys are here sharing with me what I like to do, talk about important social issues, talking about what's going on in the world, and definitely really glad for everyone that's here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you find, my weekly life useful, please do share with other people so that, we can have more voices. It's an interactive engagement. It's like being in a studio with the live audience, right? And I'm going to be like Oprah. I'm like, what would you like to say? What about you? Inshallah, one day, right? But I love this live engagement and I love, having you guys here. So if you find it useful, please share it with other people and we can have more people here. All right. So, Fatima Adam Abai, thank you so much. Amin, 100 million times Amin. Thank you, Zainab Abai, sending you a lot of love too. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, so Abdi Muhammad says, wow, one vote, one person, really? I think this is a roadside declaration. But anyways, let's hope for the best. Okay, so there are these concerns, right? Is this really going to happen? Is this something that can happen? Is this feasible? Is it realistic for us? Let's talk. Is it really something that, like, la maamuli karo? Or vote how do we make sure people don't vote twice? What about like national ID system? There's a lot of things, that I need to look into as well. Okay, Malik wuxuu leeyahay Soomaali doorashadeeda inay dib u dhacdaa laga cabsi qabaa soo ma ogid. Okay, so yeah, because of like COVID-19, I can understand that, but I'm still talking about, working out the nooks and crannies, like working out the like troubleshooting, you know what I mean? Like working out anything potentially that could go wrong. So when you're preparing for something, for example, I'll use myself as an example. I'm a teacher, and when I'm doing a lesson, I'm always like, what kind of questions will my students have about this? So I think about all the potential questions that they could potentially have. So when you start doing something, you think about all the things that could go wrong so that you can have a solution for it. Okay, so Ladan, I think it's a good step forward for Somali politics. They've done right and fairly. Absolutely key, right? Right and fairly. Wow. I better get my Somali person. Me too. So already want to shake. Somali said they had done. I got to hand it. Jabab kegan skuturaya on kararaya mesha. Hey, Idris Chama, so duo. Thank you for sharing the program, guys, and thank you very much for like being here. Thank you very much. Marka, it's some really exciting news in Namibia, right? So Africa's youngest minister at 23. So Namibia has a deputy. She's a deputy minister of information and technology, but she's only 23 years old. And obviously that had the tongues wagging, in terms of experience and knowledge. But this is a law school graduate. She's a lawyer by trade. And she is the youngest minister, 23 years old. She says, although, she has knowledge, she's very open to learn a lot. And in any situation, in any job you go into it, banking someone on what you know already, but learning more, which I find very reasonable. right? So she was chosen by the president. So this wasn't an elected like position, right? So she was chosen by the president. She said she does not go into the ministry thinking I know it all, but she's also going to make sure that she learns from others and she learns on the job, which is reasonable. Quote, she says, of course, the minister, being the head and political appointee, and the deputy minister allows the whole ministerial position to function. It is a supporting role, just like any law has supporting regulations to allow it to function, she says. So she's a deputy minister, and she's going to be supporting the actual minister of information and technology. She's only 23 years old, and, you know, we are proud and hopeful. And as I was reading about this news, you know, I'm just like reading about it, and, you know, I see some like names, you know, some names of like Dutch or German. Okay, so it says she also worked with various youth groups such as Global Shapers Windhoek, which is like a Dutch name, you know, so reminiscent, like, it just reminds me then again of like colonization, and then I just get a bitter taste in my mouth again, you know. But anyway, Malik says if you become very educated, you become what you want. Absolutely, right? So there is a lot of power in education. I value education, obviously, very much. I'm an educator. And education is just not in the classroom. There's continuous education that, you know, you can continue reading, you can continue learning. Make it a point every single day to try to learn, you know, something new. And we're at 26 minutes. All right, let's do a quick music break. I hope you guys like this young man that I have seen here. Let me see. I thought he's going to talk for a minute. Okay. no, I see. Mali maqla hadda. Okay. So that was Daoud Hamfar baladaha. Daoud Hamfar. He is really great, you know. Okay, hello, wallahi billahi marka heestaas maqlay. Original song waxaa hees yaa ida saho Cabdinaasir Macalin somebody. Somebody Macalin Cabdinaasir Macalin somebody. But anyways, the song is Kume Misa Mariane Misa Kume. You know, so Kume. Wonderful, wonderful song. أنا horta aad baan oga helay maxaa la yiraahdaa Astaan, you know, Astaan horta Astaan TV, check them out. YouTube-ka ay waa kusoo kacaa maxaa la yiraahdaa, you know, all day waan iska dhegdhegaystaa oo cuntaan ku karsadaa. You know, Cabdinaasir Macalin Saciid, haa mahadsanid Bashiiro, mahadsanid Cabdinaasir Macalin Saciid, hayo marka walaal what's okay. So let's move on to the next topic. Next topic, before I tell you guys about the LOL of the week, it's been really hilarious. Okay, you guys are gonna freak out. All right, so camel herders face a threat from MERS, which is something that affects, you know, so it went from bats to it's a disease basically that went from bats to camels, and you know how the camels and it's primarily found in Saudi, and there's an export and import exchange between North African countries, also East African countries, and the Middle East, right? So the camels are diseased, and this is going to put this is basically putting a blunder both economically and health-wise on the canvas. It's kind of like a double-edged sword, or it's like being between a rock and a hard place, right? So it's like economically the export and the import like relationship between these countries are important, right? In Saudi Arabia, up to 67% of camel handlers have been exposed to MERS. So, and the MERS is part of the coronavirus family. And it seems as though we're hearing like coronavirus for the first time this year, but it's been around, you know, in different like strains for a while, and different manifestation like of the disease, ranging from like the influenza or common cold to a severe acute respiratory syndrome. Let's see here. So dhawaada guys, welcome. Thank you very much. So dhawaada. So if it is not one thing, it's another, right? And Somalia was not too long dealing with the locust infestation that was affecting a lot of food production. Camels are used for their food, the meat, and as well as the milk, right? So this is also impacting people directly. It's a difficult situation, and that I'm hoping, you know, that we will be able to find a solution for soon. All right, so let us move on to our LOL moment of the week. Tanzanian comedian was held for 10 days in jail for laughing at the portrait picture of the Tanzanian president. Now, I don't know which picture he was looking at, but he also got in trouble before for switching his picture, his face, and photoshopping it on to pictures of the president, or vice versa. Photoshopping face of the president onto his body. So here's one of them where he Okay, what about now? Can you guys hear me? I need somebody to confirm that you can't hear because somebody just said I can't be heard. Still not? Wow. Okay. Oh, thank goodness. I was freaked out. I thought I had to completely restart. Okay. Dictators do have fragile egos, you know. Gosh, even comedy they can't handle it. But anyways, I thought to myself, is this the picture? Like this picture says, like, dude, like, like leave me alone, right? But anyways, it's just all like in fun and games, you know. And it's like, what is the problem, you know? And also, like, as a president, you should be above that. You know, you should just be above that. Like, just ignore that. You know, there are going to be people making fun of you, and you put a guy in jail for 10 days. Like, not everybody's going to make fun of you. Look what you did. So this was hilarious. And after, just a dreadful, heartbreaking week, I was like, we need some LOL moments. And, LOL moment is going to be a continuous part of the weekly show, right? Because the LOL it's important to laugh, and it's just, laughing is medicine, laughing is self-care. It is something that is like important, and something that we need to do more often. So after, hopefully this evening, I just want to watch a comedy show like with my son and just laugh and just kind of forget about the troubles of the world for a moment. But speaking of the troubles of the world, what we have is, a moment, right? And this is something that, people are familiar with, right? Different rules for the rich. And I saw this meme on the internet, and I thought you guys will get a kick out of it. Let me talk about it really quickly. Kenya president's son broke curfew rules, and he's just out partying, having fun, whereas other people are getting beat up on the streets by the police because they're disobeying the curfew rules for the coronavirus, right? So COVID-19 shutdown. And it becomes a conversation of, the rich being able to do basically whatever they want. So here is this meme that I saw, and it says, the law, in quotation, is something you get to break if you're rich. And how true is that? How true is that? And when you look at the world, and you look at the way things are set up, you can see that is the case a lot of times, right? That rich people get away with a lot more things, and that the law is set up in a way where, they can just pay their way out. So it's like, for example, like parking tickets. So you get a parking ticket. If you're rich, it's just like what, like $5 to you or $1, right? But some poor struggling student, that $50 parking fee, that's a lot of money. And then it racks up, and then it goes to the court. Then you get court fees, right? So the way that the law is set up is a lot of times to disenfranchise the poor and to put them, further down. So we have this situation here where the haves, the Kenyan president's son, can just, do whatever and party, and just the regular folks will just get their butts handed to them. This is disappointed, right? This is a global, like, pandemic health issue. And never really should there be a time where there is this double standard, right? But I would say, especially in a situation like this, it shouldn't be at all. Okay. All right. So final thing that we have for today. Let's see. We're at 41 minutes. Okay. 41 minutes. All right. So here also, in the continent, we have Felician Kabuga, who is Rwanda's top genocide fugitive, will be transferred to Arusha to face trial. He really did not want that to happen. He wanted his case to be held at The Hague. And that has basically been denied. And he is going to face the consequences on the continent in, like, Arusha, right? Not in Rwanda per se, but still on the continent. Rwanda actually wanted him back to face, his consequences in Rwanda. But this is, a compromise, right? So he's wanted for genocide. He financed the massacre of Rwanda's men, women, and children. So this is, a win, right? A loss, obviously huge that this ever even happened, but a win in the quest for justice. And I'm glad that he is going to face, face the music. And he's old. He's like in his 80s. So 80. Some places say 81. Some places say 84. Anyways, he's an old man. But still, justice is justice, and he does have to face the consequences of his actions, and that he is going to be facing that in the continent is a good thing. All right. So thank you guys are confirming for me that you can hear me. I appreciate that. So London says, haven't watched Epstein documentary on Netflix recently. This is true, of the rich being able to do whatever they want and at the expense of the poor, right? And the laws are set up, the laws, what we're told is that the laws are for, justice and for everybody. But, when we can see with our own eyes that that's not the case, and then we get gaslit and we're told, like, are you going to believe me or your lying eyes? I'm going to believe my eyes, okay? We can see the double standards. We can see how the laws are disproportionately applied to the poor and to Black and brown people. Hence the U.S. criminal justice system. So Shami So says, yes, indeed, definitely true. Malik, thank you very much. Hey, guys, so that's about it for me for today. What I wanted to leave you with is take care of yourself. What I'm going to do this week is just a lot of self-care, a lot of, doing things that I enjoy, which is like listening to music and playing music and reading. So I'm going to be reading and taking just a little hiatus, just a little break from, everything that's like going on. You can't escape it really as a Black person, right? But at the same time, stress is it's really bad for our body and mind and spirit. And we do have to we have to take care of ourselves so we can live to fight another day. So I would urge you also to just go ahead and take care of yourself, take care of your mind, body, and spirit. I don't have any, lofty words of this too shall pass. We pray, right? We pray that it does, and that there are better days to come. But they won't come, we know, without a fight. So take care of yourself. Thank you very much. Who are here sharing this time with me. I really appreciate it. And, every week around this time, come rain, come sunshine. Today was kind of like a rainy day for me, mentally, emotionally, physically. But here we are, the show must go on. And in the words of our wonderful Toni Morrison, who said that racism is a distraction, I didn't want it to win and prevent me from doing something that I do on a weekly basis and that I enjoy. But everything in my body did just not want to get up this morning. I was like, I can't, but you have to fight it, and you have to have, that sense of, that self-worth, and continue showing up for yourself, continue showing up for your people, and take care of yourself. Take the time to step away. The fight, is still there, and it needs a healthy you, mind, body, and spirit. All right. Thanks, Malik Uthman, thank you for your ideas, information. Appreciate that. Ladan, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here this entire time. Thank you so much, Abdi. Great job. Absolutely. We do. And I wish you good health and interesting news. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. So I'll leave you with one other song that I like, and I hope that you enjoy it. Love these, artists, they're just so amazing. And I'm a sucker for like live vocals and live like instruments, So here it is. مع السلامة.
xidhan lowgo rarkuelyadaane qof jacaylku ray galaayo rugiya ka xidhan lowgo rarkuelyadaane sida ramadka reebaan ku raadraadinaaye 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 عشقا يسور ذي عنك الريستها وشيك على راسكي عشقا يسور ذي عنك الريستها وشيك على راسكي راسكي عشقا يسور ذي عنك الريستها